Today we are going to configure our HWg Ares12 to use the SensDesk portal. But before we start with the details, we would like to point out that this process applies not only to the SensDesk portal connection, which is used in the video as an example, but also applicable to HWg-cloud.com and other portal providers. The process shown here are the same for each portal. So first of all, I've connected my Ares12 to my computer using the USB lead, and I've launched the RS configuration utility from the USB drive which appears in my Windows computer once I plug the device in with a USB cable. So this configuration assumes that you have already configured your Ares12. It is connected to the internet using the built-in SIM card, and as you can see, it is connected to the internet. And now we can go ahead and set up the portal connection. First of all, I have to click on the advanced mode and I need to go onto the portal tab. Here I need to specify a couple of settings first, and those settings are actually documented in the SensDesk portal. So if I log into my SensDesk portal, I click on my profile icon and I go to my team. And here within the portal settings, I can see all the settings that I need to configure on my RSConf utility. So first of all, I need to enable the portal, and I need to paste in the server address, which is here, the port, which is here, the team ID, which is here, and also the team password. Once I have done that, I need to click on this config to SensDesk button. That will register the device to the SensDesk portal. And with this, we already connected the Ares12 to the SensDesk, but there are a couple of things that we still need to do. First of all, we have to configure how the system publishes the values of the digital inputs and the sensors to the portal. First of all, in the digital inputs, we can see the input 1 and the 2, and also the external power as the digital input, and we can see their current value. And there is a button here which says Auto Push Enable. So if we enable that, then the Ares12 would send periodical updates of these inputs to the portal. But even if they are unchecked, anytime the status changes of these inputs, that's going to be published to the portal. And because my GSM communication appears to be stable enough, I haven't enabled the auto push, but I can still see all the status changes on my portal. The next is going to be the sensor. So we can see the sensors that are connected to the device. I have an ambient light sensor connected and a temperature sensor, and the internal battery state of charge is also appearing as a sensor. And here you can specify an auto push delta value. I've set all of them to 1, which means that if any of these values change by 1, so for example 1% here or 1 degree Celsius here, the Ares12 is going to push the new value to the portal. By changing these values, you can configure how much data the Ares12 uses. Obviously, if you pick a higher value, the device will send less frequent updates to the portal, and then your data plan on the SIM card is going to last longer. And finally, you can also see some debug information here. So with this configured and the settings saved, I can go back to my SensDesk portal. I click on devices. Now I can see my Ares12 here. It is showing red because I don't have the power connected. It is actually considered as an alarm. And you can see the analog sensor here, battery state of charge, the ambient light sensor and the temperature sensor, and you can also see the inputs here. And of course, when you do it initially, you won't see this history in your graph, but since I've done the SensDesk portal integration a couple of days ago, I can see all the history here.